New winter storm moving across the country at this hour. The Alberta Clipper bringing snow and ice and freezing rain, and there is real concern tonight about the commute tomorrow morning. Already tonight, dangerous driving from the plains to the Midwest, a driver losing control, slamming into a police cruiser right there in Park Hills, Kentucky. And as we come on the air tonight, 24 states now under winter storm warnings and watches right now. That system pushing all the way from Texas up to Minnesota and moving east. D.C., Philly, New York, Boston all get hit tomorrow. The driving on this holiday already a real challenge, and it's moving east. ABC's Ariel Reshef leads us off.
Tonight, the mega blast of snow and bitter cold pounding millions from Texas to Maine. In Kentucky, police say they're fighting a losing battle to black ice. This car slamming into an officer's cruiser. Spinouts from South Dakota to Indiana, where this semi jackknife backing up traffic for miles. To Chicago, where an army of 200 plows deployed.
They're very, very slippery.
The blinding storm moving east. Entire towns in the Northeast under an invasion from ice jams. Massive chunks of ice rushing downstream, blocking rivers, water spilling into nearby communities. Like Swanton, Vermont, overrun by floods. In Hallowell, Maine, cars submerged.
When we glanced down and saw that the entire parking lot was underwater, we were a bit shocked.
Tonight, flood warnings in New Jersey for a massive ice jam covering the Delaware River. In Kent, Connecticut, a state of emergency declared.
Authorities closed down this main road after frozen floodwaters rushed over it, threatening nearby homes and forcing some people to evacuate.
This school suddenly underwater.
A wave of water came in and just surrounded the cars. It just kept coming. The cars were filled up to about the hood of the car. They're almost fully submerged.
Now students scrambling to evacuate.
Ariel Reshef joins us live from Kent, Connecticut, where they are under that state of emergency, and they're already facing that other threat, the ice in the rivers, as you point out, freezing, melting, then refreezing, causing major flooding in the meantime. And another round of that they fear is coming later this week.
That's right, David. Warmer weather may be on the way for later this week, but that could cause these ice jams to melt, leading to even more flooding. The fire chief telling us, David, this problem is unprecedented. David?
Ariel Reshef leading us off tonight. Ariel, thank you. And authorities are warning drivers to be careful as the work week begins tomorrow for so many of you. That mix of snow, ice, and freezing rain, all a major concern. So let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z. She's tracking it all hour by hour for us tonight. Ginger.
That slick drive, David, is going to happen in places like San Antonio, Texas, Austin, Texas. As everybody goes back to school and work, I want to take you to the maps. You've got advisories from Monroe, Louisiana to Saratoga Springs, New York, but that pink area in Texas up through Mississippi, even Oxford, Mississippi, is what I want you to pay attention to. That's where the freezing rain could cause ice up to a ½ inch, mix it with some sleet, up to 2 inches of snow, and it is not going to be a good Tuesday morning. Then you move it all to the east, and it's kind of post-frontal there, but the snow goes all the way up the coast. And behind this, so significant, Mobile, Alabama by Wednesday morning, single-digit wind chills. They've just put out a state of emergency in the state of Alabama.
All right, another round of this bone-chilling cold right behind us, as you point out, Ginger.
It's another cold one out there.
Yeah.
This is a live look at the roads in Tennessee. Ooh, starting to snow right now. Nashville, Memphis, millions facing a messy commute this morning.
Get a sense of this by looking at this map right here. You see so many parts of the country under storm alerts as that system moves its way east.
But some schools are even closed in the south, from Texas to Georgia. We're going to go right to Ginger, who's tracking the latest. Good morning, Ginger.
Good morning, Michael. It's a good thing they are closed, because we just got news in that parts of I-20 westbound near Shreveport closed down thanks to that snow that's flying right there. And snow flying all the way to Kentucky and Ohio. The wind chill warnings that go from Montana into Oklahoma, and advisories here from Corpus Christi up to Providence, Rhode Island.
Overnight, wicked winter weather taking over the roads. From Wisconsin to Ohio to Missouri. Snow sending cars sliding, semis jackknifing on the freeway, leaving traffic backed up for miles. And look at this video out of Kentucky. Black ice sending this car spinning before slamming into a police cruiser. In the Northeast,
water was like 5 inches below the windowsill.
Frozen floodwaters creating ice jams, threatening entire towns. Water rushing downstream, spilling into nearby communities. In Alabama, a state of emergency declared. And in Texas, more than 660 flights delayed or canceled as fears grow that this storm could paralyze parts of the state. Our Marcus Moore was on the ground in Dallas.
This is some of the material that you would put down on the road.
Crews working long hours to prevent ice from building up on bridges and overpasses. The Texas Department of Transportation using nearly 200 pieces of equipment to pre-treat some 10,000 miles of roads in Dallas alone. But still, dozens of schools closed this morning.
Because we don't see a lot of this, it's important that we tell drivers that, look, if you don't have to be out on the road, then by all means stay home.
So if you're in College Station or Houston this morning and it's raining and then it's going to transition to a freezing rain or sleet move through the Gulf, and you can see even New Orleans in that winter weather advisory. The snowy part sticks from West Virginia up through western Virginia through tonight and tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning is where that coastal low wraps in a little bit more moisture, and you could end up seeing 3 to 6 inches of snow in some of the coastal areas in New England, 2 to 4 closer to New York City here. Michael, it gets really cold, and I'm talking real cold deep south. I'll talk about that in a bit.
All right, thank you, Jenny. My mom told me last night to tell everybody in Houston, stay in, don't go anywhere. But if you have to, be safe.
That's right. Good advice there, Mike.
Moscow's 2017 December was its darkest on record. December set the record for the least amount of sunshine seen in Moscow, Russian weather experts say. The sun didn't come out even once for the entire month, said the weather website Meteo Novosti. According to Russia's main weather center, the sun did shine for 6 minutes. But normally Muscovites get dozens of hours of December sunshine. Russian winters are famously freezing, but this week the cold in Yakutia, in the Far East, dipped below -60 C, 76 F. It is about -7 C in Moscow. Yakutia, a remote region also known as the Sakha Republic, is historically the coldest part of Russia. Even for the Sakha Republic, famous for its harsh cold, this temperature is abnormal, Meteo Novosti said. On Tuesday, the temperature remained below -50 C across the vast region, whose capital Yakutsk lies 4,900 kilometers, 3,045 miles, east of Moscow. Russian children are usually kept indoors and schools are shut when the cold plunges below -50 C. Roman Vilfand, head of the Russian Meteorological Center, attributed Moscow's exceptionally overcast weather in December to big cyclonic air masses, which had moved in from the Atlantic. Moscow's previous record for December darkness was in 2000, when the capital got just 3 hours with the sun breaking through the cloud. Russia's hot tips for cold weather. Don't drink spirits, drunkenness causes great heat loss. Wear loose clothing to keep blood circulation normal. If you feel frostbitten on a walk, find any warm place, a shop, cafe, doorway, and warm up. Don't remove your boots if your feet are frozen, they'll swell up and you won't be able to get your boots on again. Get to a warm place as quickly as possible. You could shove your frozen hands in your armpits to warm them up. If your car breaks down far away from habitation, you should stay in your car and phone for help or wait for another vehicle to come along the road. Avoid the wind, as it increases the risk of freezing. When children are outdoors, they should return to the warmth every 15 to 20 minutes.
Cars spinning out of control. An icy mess for Monday commuters.
I overcorrected and slid off the side of the interstate.
Millions across the country trying to dig out of deadly conditions that have already claimed more than 24 lives since Christmas. In Pittsburgh, cars going up in flames.
What's the day been like for you guys today?
Video emerged last week of kids bundled up inside Baltimore classrooms with no heat. Several schools closed today for snow as officials investigate the problem.
They're not fit for our children to go into. We need our children into safe places.
Further north, cleanup crews in Massachusetts hard at work after record flooding.
This is the worst disaster we ever had.
Frozen lakes stretching for miles, boats stuck on ice for 2 weeks.
This stretch of cold has just been brutal. It's been brutal.
But for much of the country, temperatures are finally warming up. For the first time since Christmas, several major cities, including Buffalo, Boston, and Providence, all saw highs above freezing. Operations at New York's JFK Airport closer to normal after a weekend of chaos. Thousands of stranded passengers, a nasty water main break, and mountains of lost luggage.
Our baggages got lost for 7 hours, so we've been here for like 8 hours.
But as the snow melts away, frustrations continue. Even though the snow is just beginning to fall as we speak, areas in the Northeast could see temperatures as high as 50 by Thursday.
A freezing blast from Winter Storm Inga is making travel difficult across the South and Northeast. Snow was falling from New England to Florida on Tuesday night into this morning. Dangerous conditions exist as far south as southeastern Texas and the western Florida panhandle. Roads are littered with car accidents. In Louisiana, the I-10 twin span bridge is closed in both directions. In Mississippi, the Department of Transportation urged people to stay off the roads. In Georgia, I-85 southbound is closed in Jackson County after a tractor trailer slid across the interstate. And nearly 100 flights were canceled so far out of Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. Public transportation in Atlanta is experiencing delays as well due to the snowy and icy conditions. In Houston at George Bush Intercontinental Airport, hundreds of flights have also been canceled and more cancellations are expected. And states of emergency have been declared in Alabama, Georgia, and North Carolina so far.
到了现场之后，发现没有看到船只的迹象，应该这个船只已经完全沉没了，然后也没有火，也没有烟，但现场呢有油污，油污的颜色呢是亮白色的，边缘有一些黑色的、褐色的这个油污，然后现场的一些船只呢已经开始清污除油的作业。
An American woman has died after contracting a flesh-eating bacteria from oysters in Louisiana. In September, Jeanette LeBlanc went crabbing with friends and family on the Louisiana coast and picked up a sack of raw oysters at a Westwego market. LeBlanc allegedly ate about 24 raw oysters. However, after about 36 hours, LeBlanc started to suffer from shortness of breath and rashes appeared on her body. We warn you, some of these photos may be upsetting. Friends and family thought LeBlanc was having an allergic reaction, but doctors said she had contracted a flesh-eating bacteria called Vibrio. Less than a month later, she died. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, people can become infected with Vibrio after eating raw or uncooked shellfish, or by exposing open wounds to brackish water. LeBlanc's friends recently spoke out about LeBlanc's case to help raise awareness of Vibrio. For United News International, I'm Rachel Latham.
To form what is believed to be the biggest flooded cave on the planet. Now, originally the Sac-Actun cave, which is 263 kilometres long, ran very close to the 83-kilometre Dos Ojos system. But it's been shown, in fact, that amongst the underwater rocks, they are connected. Now, that means that the system is, in fact, 347 kilometres long. Researchers saying they've also found within that site highly preserved ceramic vases from Mayan society, which would have been used in funerals and during ritual sacrifices. The cave there identified after months of exploring the maze of underwater channels. Fascinating. I cannot believe that they managed to find something that's that long.